Thinking about splitting from your spouse, there are some important things you might want to first consider. Here are some examples, not an exhaustive list, but here are some things to think about. First of all, you want to be able to privately communicate with a lawyer or whoever without your spouse being able to intercept or overhear. So that's one of the first things to consider. You need to protect yourself financially. That's going to mean if you have joint accounts, you need to have access to those some kind of way to make sure that your spouse doesn't, frankly, run off with the money. So you may want to set up an account in your own sole name. Likewise with credit cards. If you have a credit card, you want to have at least one in your own sole name, and you want to make sure that the statements for that do not go somewhere where your spouse can look at them and see what you're charging and where you're going and so forth. Your books, records, and documents. You want to be able to access them. You want to preserve them. You can take hard copies or upload them in a computer, whatever it is, you want to have access to those. You may want to take an inventory, a video inventory around the house of the most valuable things that you have to make sure that where they are and that what condition they're in, because things happen when people separate. You don't need to do the socks and shoes, but if you have things that are antiques or of value or whatever, you might want to video those. Social media. Don't put anything up on social media because it's social and someone else can access it. And if you eventually wind up in a divorce situation, opposing counsel can eventually take a look at anything you've posted. You can take a look at anything your spouse may have posted because that could be valuable information. If you have things that are on social media, just be aware. You're going to have passwords to access your phone and to access your laptop or desktop computer. Change those. That's very important. Vehicle. You want to have access to a vehicle. Just make sure that you have the keys. Things happen, as I've said before, and they can be unfortunate. You want to obviously, first and foremost, above everything, is a much more elaborate subject, but obviously if you have minor children, you want to make sure everything's taken care of as far as those, but that's a whole different discussion. There will be other aspects of your assets, your income, and your privacy. Those are key. Keep them in mind as the first thing that you may want to consider before you step out the door. Those are the things that you need to think about if you're considering splitting from your spouse. And of course, if you have any questions, be sure to ask an attorney who knows what he or she is talking about.